Do you look at your bank account statement and think,
now that's a lot of damage!
It's really easy to feel behind financially, especially with all these 20-something-year-old millionaires on social media and people retiring in their 30s nowadays. But I'm here to encourage you and highlight what you're doing right financially. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some signs that you're doing well financially. Be sure to stay tuned until the end because the last sign is my favorite. If you're not doing everything mentioned in this video, that's okay. These can be goals to work towards. And that doesn't mean that you're not on the right track financially. In fact, I know that you're on the right track by the simple fact that you're watching this video.
What?
That's right, the first sign that you're doing well financially is that you make an effort to learn more about finances, which is exactly what you're doing by watching this video. This could include financial books, podcasts, discussions with friends about money, and watching your favorite finance YouTube channels. Which reminds me, don't forget to like and subscribe to support both the channel and your financial well-being.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Unfortunately, our education systems usually fail to provide a solid financial foundation.
Come on now, dawg.
So the fact that you're making an effort to improve your financial knowledge is a great sign. If you're interested in some good financial books to read, here are some of my favorites. I'll have some links in the description if you're interested. Now, the next sign that you're doing well financially is that you don't live paycheck to paycheck. According to a Lending Club report, as of December 2022, a whopping 64% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. And this isn't just low-income individuals. 51% of Americans with annual income of $100,000 or more were living paycheck to paycheck. And while I acknowledge that some of these individuals are just stretched too thin financially due to rising costs, lack of discipline and low income also play a role. So if you're currently living paycheck to paycheck, I'd encourage you to do your best to decrease your expenses, track your spending, which we'll talk about later, and increase your income, whether that means asking for a raise, switching jobs, or getting a second job. But if you don't anxiously await payday, or maybe you don't even pay attention to when payday is, congrats, you're doing pretty well financially. The next sign that you're doing well financially is that you're paying your bills on time.
Pay my bills are paid.
According to a recent report by LendingTree, 32% of adults have paid a bill late in the past 6 months. So if you're paying your rent, utilities, and phone bill on time and you're not putting these bills on a credit card, you're in a relatively good spot financially. By paying bills late, you incur late fees, interest, and possibly negative marks on your credit report.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And if you neglect your mortgage or rent long enough, you'll be homeless. Paying bills late can start a really vicious cycle that is hard to get out of. So just by paying your bills on time, you're definitely doing something right, even if it may seem like a small accomplishment. The next sign that you're doing well financially is that you track your spending.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
A 2020 survey conducted by Mint.com found that 65% of Americans said they don't know how much they spent last month, and that nearly a third said they'd wish they'd spent less in the last month. Tracking your spending is essential to financial stability, because if you don't know how much you're spending, you're probably spending too much, and you may even be spending more than you're making. Now, to track my spending, I prefer to keep an old-fashioned budget and log all my expenses whenever I buy something, but at the very least, I'd recommend reviewing your finances at the end of each month to make sure you're spending less than you're earning. If you spend more than you earn, you'll never be in a good spot financially.
If you're doing it, stop it.
Tracking your spending makes it way easier to have controlled, stable expenses and avoid impulse spending. So if you track your spending, nice work. But if you don't, feel free to check out my video on budgeting. The next sign is that your debt is manageable. And by manageable, I mean that you're intentional about avoiding high interest debt and you have a plan to pay down any of this high interest debt that you currently have. If you have any debt with an interest rate above around 5 to 6%, getting this debt paid off should be one of your top financial priorities, since paying interest rates on these debts will greatly hinder your financial progress. The average amount of credit card debt in 2022, according to Experian, was $5,910. So if you have less than that, you can be proud that you're better than average, but either way, get your credit card debt paid off
ASAP as possible. Thanks.
If you don't have any bad high interest debt, or if you have a plan to get it paid off, you're in good shape. Now, let's talk about savings. Emergencies can be financially devastating if you don't have a solid emergency fund in place. Emergency room visits can cost upwards of $2,000, but a survey conducted by The Motley Fool indicated that the American's median emergency fund is $2,000. So if the median American had to take a trip to the emergency room, their emergency fund would be completely wiped out. That's why it's important to build up a solid emergency fund. Most experts suggest saving around 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So if you're contributing to your savings on a regular basis, that's a great sign that you're doing well financially. But if not, that's okay. I have videos on both saving money and emergency funds, so check those out if you're interested. Another great way to mitigate the burden of financial emergencies is with insurance. So if you have insurance, that's a good sign. By purchasing insurance, you're protecting yourself against catastrophic events outside of your control, which reduces financial risk and stress. The amount of insurance needed varies from person to person, but common insurances that nearly everyone everyone should consider purchasing if possible include health insurance, home insurance, and automobile insurance. And you should also consider life insurance and disability insurance if you have a family that depends on your income. Another good sign that you're doing well financially is that you are investing some of your money on a consistent basis. According to a 2022 Gallup poll, 58% of Americans reported that they own stock, which means 42% of Americans don't. While stashing money away in a savings account is great, it will inevitably lose value due to inflation. Investing allows you to fight inflation and set yourself up with a better financial future. Without investing, it's difficult to become wealthy enough to live a comfortable retirement because investing has a snowball effect on your money due to what is called compound interest. So if you're already investing, nice work. If not, I have a video about how to invest. And don't worry, it's not too hard and your future self will definitely thank you. The next sign that you're doing well financially is that you use credit cards wisely or you avoid credit cards completely. Some financial experts suggest avoiding credit cards altogether, which may be a wise strategy for some since they can be dangerous if used incorrectly. If you have a hard time managing money, having a credit card is probably a bad idea. If you've chosen this path of avoiding credit cards, kudos to you. Dave Ramsey would be proud. But credit cards do have quite a few benefits, such as rewards, purchase protection, building credit, and more. So I'm not a firm believer that you should avoid credit cards entirely, assuming you're wise with your finances. So if you are a credit card user and you're using them wisely by paying them off on time and in full each month, then nice work. The next sign is that you avoid lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation refers to an increase in spending when an individual's income goes up. So when you get that raise at work, is your first thought, I'm gonna buy that new shiny thing? Or is it, I'm gonna pay down debt and save more money? Lifestyle inflation makes it difficult to get out of debt, invest for retirement, or meet any other big financial goals. It's the reason that people making six figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. It's really easy to get in the habit of spending more as you make more, especially when you see your peers buying new houses or cars. But lifestyle inflation is a dangerous game.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
While living below your means is a great way to make financial progress. So next time you get a raise, try to use that extra money to improve your financial situation rather than spend it on stuff you probably don't need. And if you already do this, then great job. The next sign that you're doing well financially is that you don't feel too much stress about finances and you feel like you have your financial situation under control. According to the Mind Over Money survey by Capital One and the Decision Lab, 77% of respondents reported that they feel anxious about their finances and 58% reported that finances control their lives. Most people are stressed about money on a regular basis, but if you don't lose sleep over money and it's not a contentious topic in your household, you're probably doing pretty well financially. The next sign that you're doing well financially, which is also my favorite on this list, is that you've automated your finances to some extent. My favorite ways to automate finances are by automating savings and investing, but this also includes automatic payments on bills. To automate my savings, I set up automatic transfers from my main checking account where my paycheck is deposited to my savings account. This way, I never even have to think about saving money, but the money is in my savings account if I need it. Similarly, I also set up automatic transfers from my main checking account to my investment accounts. Then, from within my investment account, I have automatic investing set up so that index funds of my choosing are purchased twice per month. I set these automatic transfers to occur soon after I receive my paycheck, so this strategy has the added benefit of making me feel like I have less money, which helps me avoid lifestyle inflation. Setting up these transfers has been the best financial decision that I've made, since I know I'm staying on track to reach my financial goals without having to put in any mental effort. If you have automatic transfers set up, then great job, but if not, I would highly recommend that you give it a try. Now, this last point I want to make is that you shouldn't compare yourself to others when it comes to finances. There are simply too many people in the world, so there will always be someone who seems like they're doing better than you. Instead, I encourage you to focus on continuing to learn about finances and take small, incremental steps to improve your financial situation. Don't forget that personal finance is personal. Leave a comment with any questions you have, and don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more personal finance content.